Hello there and welcome once again to the weekly cultural diary Colours of India, where we bring you all things fine from the world of fine arts. We begin this week with theatrical production from Manipur, followed by Pavakathakali and all things green and organic. We start this week with a colourful and extravagant performance, so colourful and vibrant that it is in fact called Indradanush, which means a rainbow.
Indradhanush Dilli is a festival of Indian classical and folk dances, where the talent of today's youth is propagated. Sunena, or the Society for the Upliftment of National Arts in India, initiates this idea, providing a fitting platform. The evening staged many classical forms, like the most popular folk dance of Assam, Bihu Nritya. Based on the rhythmic exuberance of music, the dance involves a lot of brisk stepping, hand movements and swaying.
Indradanush has hosted more than 112 youth artists till now. This festival's main aim is to showcase youth talent. They are the torchbearers of this art form in the next generation, because if not for these youth, then it will die, the art form will die with the gurus who are preserving it. So these youth talent are showcased in the Indradhanush festival.
A magnificent spectacle was the Purulia Chhau performance. Chhau is a form of tribal martial arts which was transformed into a dancing technique. In Purulia Chhau, the performers adopt a larger-than-life get-up covering their faces and body with heavily decorated masks and costumes. The style is acrobatic and energized in nature. The performers here presented glimpses of mythical icons.
It's a huge platform, especially when so many youngsters are now gradually getting into learning classical dance, learning folk art. Of course, the number is not so huge as compared to the Western style, but this is our tradition. And the more the platforms, the more enthusiastic the artist is, because at the same time it's a platform where visual is a huge thing, and if you get a platform at such a young age, you feel inspired, and it's also great to carry on the tradition in future.
In a subtle mix of the bhavam, ragam, talam, along with the nritya, the Bharatnatyam performance proved to be spellbinding. In a group performance, they presented the Tilana, where one could see the elaborate use of footwork along with rigorous dancing. In a duet, Satvita Shankar and Medha Hari presented a complex piece where the performers held on to a hand of one another's. Their timing and choreography showed their mastery in the art form.
art forms like this really have to be given platforms like this to encourage them, because I'm from Kerala and I don't get to see Kathakali performances in Kerala. Only since I came to New Delhi I got to see this performance. It's actually really good, and I really feel that artists should be encouraged in this way, and then more shows should be organized this way.
Moving from east to south, the transition in the classical arts could be seen. Kathakali, the dance drama style of Kerala, was also performed. The elaborate makeup, the heavy costume and headgear are very similar to the Purulia Chau style. But the dancing style is rather intricate. With intense facial expressions, gestures and footwork, the artists can convey an entire story.
With power-packed performances, this particular program did live up to its name. Now, in the recent light of events, one particular issue, the issue of women empowerment, has taken top priority in our nation. And the Bharat Mahotsav had a dark theatrical production which was similar to this topic.
Along with the display of talent, an idea also gets put forth through theatre. The National School of Drama's Bharat Mahotsav was one such crucial pedestal for Manipur-based theatre artist Dr. S. Thanin Lema and her group Kenjong Lang, where she is able to bring out the most pressing topic of her place, condition of women.
I want to open up to the community. We feel like this. We are suffering like this, and you should understand this. But if you understand something, that's enough. That's enough. If you got some point from this play, that's enough. I'm no designed as this. Play is wonderful. I don't want to heard that kind of word. Yes, this happened. That inside. That's what, if this play can give some understanding to the men's feminism society, I got the point, this month.
Being the first Manipuri woman to pass out from NSD, Thanin Lema understands the worth and importance of being a woman. Her play, I Won't Cease to Go On, is a metaphor on existing social scene and efforts to empower women in Manipur. It revolves around the suffering of a woman named Sapna, who struggles to raise her voice against the psychological and physical harassment.
She has had to struggle a lot to, make her presence felt. Very brave girl, very gritty, and she's continued in spite of a lot of problems. So there's a great deal of element of autobiography in the play, and that is why I suppose it is so intense and so passionate. So I feel nice. It's a good thing to see that she has also written the play, and I was very impressed with the kind of abstraction that she was dealing with and the kind of poetry in the performance itself.
The entire stage was a makeshift platform. Using lights, they created a dramatic and dark ambience which brought out the intensity in the topic. They used a white cloth backdrop to depict few parts through shadows. A dried up tree represented the plight and the suffering of a woman.
It was very intense and quite poetic at times. And I thought the environment she created also was quite interesting. So it was a strong play and it was enjoyable.
The language was Manipuri, which easily brought out a natural tone of the protagonist. Using monologues mostly, the act was a complaint and comment throughout. At the center, they had used water fountains where the protagonist washes away the mud. This is a metaphorical assertion on the society that a woman's belief cleanses her of all the dirt.
The play particularly focused on the situation of women in Manipur, but when you think about it, the situation of women everywhere is similar to this. Now on that thought, it's time for us to take a small break. I'll see you on the other side.
Coming up, Pavakathakali and some organic food.
Welcome back. Before we took that break, we were discussing about the situation of women in the 21st century. Now, our literature, epics included, have always had women characters who've had to bear the brunt of many a war. A retelling of the Mahabharata through Pavakathakali emphasized this.
Pavakathakali, which means storytelling using glove puppets, is an ancient art form originally practiced in Kerala's Palakkad district by the Andipandarams. This once dying art tradition was revived in the early 70s by G. Venu, and today his is the only group that practices the same. At an IGNAC organized workshop, G. Venu and his group presented the story of Duryodhana Vadam.
Puppeteers originally who gave birth to this art form, they come from Andhra Pradesh. You know, that is the whole history of puppetry. It is always like that. They are like nomadics. They travel from village to village, sometimes from one state to another state. Wherever they find a favorable situation, they settle down.
The story of a publicly humiliated Draupadi who extracts a promise from Bhima that he will avenge her with Duryodhana's blood. In the bloody battle that follows, Bhima and Duryodhana are matched in strength, but with Lord Krishna as his guiding light, Bhima goes for the kill. To keep his promise, he then rips open the dead Duryodhana's stomach, takes out his intestines and other organs, and using this blood, washes Draupadi's hair.
The whole purpose is to introduce the story of Kathakali as well as the characters. When a puppet dancing is something memorable for children mainly, once if they witness, they will never forget. That is the reason we revived it.
मुझे ये शो बहुत अच्छा लगा, बट मैंने बिलीव नहीं करा था कि मुझे ये शो देखने का मीन्स चांस भी मिलेगा. सो आई एम वेरी हैप्पी एंड ये शो इतना अच्छा था. जैसे यहाँ पे बहुत सारे अलग अलग कैरेक्टर्स थे और सबके इतने अच्छे क्रिएटिव थिंग्स थे, तो आई एम वेरी हैप्पी टू आई कैन सी दैट.
In the last part of the performance, Lord Krishna appears in his Vishvarupa as Vishnu, and the familiar stories of the Mahabharata gets a new lease of life when the puppets enact them.
Dancing dolls are no child's play, and the range of subjects that open up for discussion through a simple puppet show is astonishing. Now, one of the many virtues of our land includes the classical music tradition, and recently a tribute was held for Pandit Ravi Shankar.
the capital recently held the Swami Haridas Tansen Sangeet Nritya Mahotsav. The annual festival in its 11th edition was dedicated to the legendary late Pandit Ravi Shankar. With the aim to keep our classical dance and music alive, the 3-day festival brought some of the versatile artists like Kathak dancer Uma Sharma, classical vocalist Ustad Ghulam Sadiq Khan and Pandit Hariprasad Chaurasia onto one platform.
हम लोगों की अपनी संस्कृति, अपना संगीत, नृत्य और वाद्य ये बना रहे. ख़ास तौर से I'm referring to younger generation. And I think such kind of musical conferences we should have to keep it alive, our old traditional dance music and instruments.
Uma Sharma is one of the oldest and known exponents of Kathak in the classical front. As a child lights up the lamp, felicitating the great soul, her students performed on a thumri called Kaha Gelva Sham Salone, composed by Pandit Shankar himself. Accompanied by Jwala Prasad on the vocals, Mubarak Ali on the harmonium, Naveen Kumar on the pakhavaj and Khalim on the sitar, Uma performed next and showed her polished skills through magnificent footwork.
Always brings a certain aura of happiness to what she does, and it's very moving. But the Hari Prasad ji is just this is what can you say about Hari Prasad ji? To listen to him is transports you into another world.
Up next was Ustad Ghulam Sadiq Khan and his son Ustad Ghulam Abbas Khan, who was accompanied by Hassan Khan and Salman on the vocals. In a unique opportunity, the audience was able to see 3 generations perform together. They performed on Rag Anandi. Belonging to the Rampur Sahaswan Gharana, they are proficient in increasing and decreasing the raga while singing. They were attended by Sudhir Pandey on the tabla, Kamal on the sarangi, Rafi Khan on the harmonium and Ashish and Hari on the tanpura.
क्लासिकल म्यूज़िक तो हमारी जनरेशन में चलता ही रहेगा, ये कभी नहीं ख़त्म होगा. चाहे कोई भी म्यूज़िक आ जाए अपने कंट्री में, पर ये म्यूज़िक नहीं जाएगा. और इसके सुनने का जो क्लास है वो अलग ही क्लास है, वो आता ही रहेगा सुनने.
Finally, Pandit Hariprasad Chaurasia mesmerized the audience with his flute. A living legend in his own, he is a prominent entity shaping our classical culture. Accompanied by Rashid on the tabla, Sunil on the second flute and Hari on the tanpura, he presented a late evening raga, Rag Jogi.
After that wonderful musical homage to the late Pandit Ravi Shankar, it is now time for us to take a small break, and I will see you on the other side.
Coming up, healthy and nutritious food.
Welcome back. With the weather showing clear signs of global warming, the city is trying to raise awareness about this issue with an eco-festival that celebrates all things organic and green, food included.
The Ministry of Environment and Forest organized a half-month-long eco-festival titled Green Heart at Delhi's very own Dilli Haat. Through this endeavour, they are trying to promote non-timber forest-based products ranging from medicines to handicrafts to eco-brooms. But what attracted was organic food.
Youth has immense potential, and if youth can be given information in the right context and perspective, they are the one who can lead the change. And that is what we have felt here, that young people, just because they didn't know about this culture, they were alienated. It's not that they didn't want to get introduced. And this is what is making difference, that with the food we are also informing and sensitizing them. Why this food, what is special, why this grain, why we need to eat this. So all this information, in a way we are connecting them with nature, and that was the purpose of Green Heart, I suppose.
Chin India was one of the organic food counters selling nomadic food products. They aim to promote the marginalized nomadic communities and their culture, including their food habits. Their organic platter was inspired by the Jogi clan of Rajasthan, which uses naturally grown ingredients free from chemicals and pesticides.
In a dignified manner, we are again reintroducing people to this concept of nomadic food. The most important highlight of this stall is that the food is cooked on clay tawa, and the cooking time is more. So no matter, so again, it's a culture of need. It's not culture of greed, which governs the nomadic life. So no matter how many customers, or it's a Sunday or Monday, the time is there. So 20 minutes per roti. So you just can't increase the number. But the kind of pleasure you get after eating this with a lot of patience is something which touches us, which moves us.
Keeping it really authentic and maintaining the nutritional value. They served freshly made bajre ki roti cooked on an open chula with gatta curry, raita and some garlic chutney, along with few pieces of onions. And how can we forget the oodles and oodles of desi ghee on our roti? And of course, some good for dessert.
With times to come, these organic products, which are free from all kinds of pesticides and the so-called poisons of our modern life, should be promoted in every way possible, not only in Delhi Haat but in other outlets in Delhi also. I really like it. It's really tasty and it's really healthy. I don't have to think about of my digestive problems afterwards if you eat outside in the streets. It's a big problem, But here it's very good. It's very tasty, very delicious.
Beating the junk was another stall, the Organic Food Cafe. Here they serve rajma rice cooked using brown rice, which is more nutritious than the white variety. They also had multi-grain roti, and the mix of 10 ingredients adds to its flavor. Along with these, they served a yam salad, which is low on fat and cholesterol, but a good source of dietary fiber and vitamin C. And a potato flax salad, which is high on omega acid. This is good for the heart. The dessert section had kheer made of organic and easy to digest sawa rice or jhangora.
खाना पौष्टिक इन द सेंस कि खाने का जो है वहाँ पे जो हमारा ऑर्गेनिक जो हो रहा है सब कुछ वही कुछ खाना है, और वहाँ के वहीं के मसाले हैं, उसी के साथ अदरक, हल्दी और मिर्च वहीं की सब कुछ है उसके अंदर, कोई क्योंकि केमिकल नहीं है, कोई कुछ नहीं है, और सरसों के तेल में बनाया गया है, तेल भी अपना है, सब कुछ अपना है, तो इसलिए वो ज़्यादा पौष्टिक है।
And if at the end of all this you feel like sipping a hot cup of tea, then choose between 4 organic kinds. Hot water is poured into the kettle along with the leaves, and instead of using processed sugar, they used brown sugar, honey and lemon for sweetness and flavor. These healthy beverages act as antioxidant and purifying agents. The eco-friendly idea was followed all the way to their serving plates and spoons.
Our mantra this week is eat healthy and live happy. And that's all we have for you on this week's episode. I will see you next week, same time, same show. Do remember to send in your suggestions and feedbacks through our Facebook page. Until later, goodbye and take good care.